Welcome to my unboxing of the APOGEE XT Revision 2 from Swiftech. There's a very good reason I am unboxing this particular little piece of water cooling gear, and that is because I will be using it for my ultimate liquid cooled machine build guide, which will include a liquid cooling component. So I'm going to go ahead and take everything out of the box and show you guys exactly what it comes with. So the first thing we find is a couple of 1/2 inch beautiful plated G1/4 barb fittings. There you go. So those are for 1/2 inch tubing. All right, next we have some thermal compound. That is Arctic Silver Ceramique, if it's still the same thing it was years ago, which is exactly what it looks like. Very good quality thermal compound. Not the best, but certainly far from the worst, and non-conductive. Non-capacitive, very safe for use in your system. Here we have a couple of black worm drive clamps. So you put your tubing over the barb, you put the worm drive clamp over the tubing, then you tighten it up with a slot head screwdriver to make sure you got a nice tight seal in there. Can you see that okay? Yes, you can. All right, next we have an install guide, which is so easy with this particular block, although it does show you a couple of interesting little things. Oh, critical. Okay, the water block side with the 3 screws must be parallel to the CPU locking lever. Fascinating. That's probably just for maximum performance. It might, cost you a degree or two if you don't do it that way, but fascinating. Okay. So we'll bear that in mind, right? So let's have a look at the, oh, no, not just yet. Okay, we've got an extra back plate. So my assumption is that's an 1156 back plate, and the one that is pre-installed here on the CPU block is actually a 1366 backplate. So let's go ahead and, yeah, you peel that off for sure, and I'll just take this apart a little bit before I try to show it to you. Wow, water blocks have come a long way since I got my last water block upgrade, which was actually quite a little while ago. This one looks just gorgeous. Alright, and so Swiftech has really upgraded their mounting hardware system since the last time I installed a new block as well. This thing is like rugged. Okay, so there's your 2 back plates. As I guessed, yes, this is the 1366. The only difference is just the spacing of the holes, and you can actually see that Swiftech has designed this particular block to easily slide back and forth. So you can install it on 775, 1155, 1156, and 1366. You can remove those stoppers and then you can take these off, but really there's no need to unless you are going to replace the hold down. Now, as they mentioned, the side with 3 here is going to be the side that you want to align with your CPU retention arm. Okay, so let's talk about the features of this particular block a little bit. So this is the APOGEE XT, which is the successor to every other APOGEE block. My first water block was actually an APOGEE, the original APOGEE, and like its predecessors, it uses a pin matrix. So you can see down into the block itself. Now it's a much tighter pin matrix than it used to be. The APOGEE had pins that were probably, oh wow, they must have been about 6-7 times the size of those. The APOGEE GT improved on that, and then here we are with the XT. So you can see actually what's really cool about this block is that it does have a central inlet, which is a design that came in fashion about 3-4 years ago. And that's not all. You also have the option of taking the central inlet and turning it around so that your inlet is here. Remember, the inlet is the one where the water goes in, so go ahead and I'll put the barbs on here for demonstration. So the water goes in directly over your CPU core and then flows around inside the block, cooling itself. Well, not cooling itself, heating itself, cooling the CPU, and then comes out the outlet. But what you can do, if you're not quite as worried about flow rate, and honestly, I've never been much of a flow rate guy. I mean, yes, it makes a slight difference to the performance of a given water cooling system, but it's not the end of the world. What you can do is you can use an Allen key to take out these 6 guys right here. You can turn this around, and then you can actually move the inlet over to this side, which allows you to not only install these barb fittings, but you can also install compression fittings instead, because you'll have that extra clearance. So that's a really convenient feature. All right, so I want to show you guys the hold down mechanism. Swiftech has always taken hold downs very, very seriously. They were one of the first ones. Well, actually, they were the only ones for the longest time to even have an Intel-approved hold down in terms of the amount of mounting pressure that it was applying to the CPU and In terms of the convenience that it applies to users, they have made great strides compared to their competition over the years. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how this works. First thing you're going to do is you're going to peel off the plastic covering, and let's just do the finger test. So you can see it's very shiny indeed. Okay, and then I'm just going to put that back on to protect the base because I'm not really ready to install it right now. There we go. Peel off, put back on, wax off. All right. And then what you do is you put this on the back of your board, you take off those adhesive pads there, stick it to the back of your board in the right positioning, and then you screw these in. Now what Swiftech has done so well since very early days is implemented stoppers. So what stoppers do is, unlike their competitors, like I said, the mounting pressure being within Intel spec, Swiftech actually puts in place a maximum here. So you can see, we've screwed it in all the way, it doesn't go in any further. Your spring controls the amount of tension that there is, the amount of pressure there is on your CPU, and that is how Swiftech prevents you from over-tightening and bowing your motherboard, which used to be a big concern a few years back when not everyone was including backplates with their CPU blocks. So really what it comes down to for me in choosing the APOGEE XT is that I wanted something that was very, very easy, very robust to mount, and I wanted something that offered top cooling performance, so this little guy hits both of those marks. No problem. Thank you for checking out my unboxing, and don't forget to subscribe to my NCIX.com channel as well as this channel so you can check out the ultimate build guide, including a water cooling guide section.